At first glance, it's easy to feel like you don't have the time to learn a language. It's also easy to blame not making any progress on a lack of time as well. But when you take a closer look at how you're actually spending the time you do have with your language, you may find that you're guilty of poor time management. Just a few small changes could make your learning that much more productive, and the time you do have suddenly doesn't feel so limiting. Here are 13 of the biggest ways that language learners waste time. Are you guilty of any of these? 1. Spending too much time learning how to learn a language rather than actually learning it. 2. Reviewing when it isn't needed. Review is great when you need it, but if you're using it to procrastinate learning any new material, it can be a huge time waster. 3. Learning things that you won't use or that aren't relevant to you personally. Use your time to learn the words and phrases you actually need, those that are relevant and that you know you'll use. Don't waste time with material that won't serve any purpose to you personally. 4. Not learning language chunks. Vocabulary is one thing and grammar is another, but sometimes learning chunks of language is a better way to go about your studies than learning vocabulary and grammar as two separate things. 5. Not studying consistently. This is one of the most dangerous time wasters because it really hinders any progress you can make with your study. The more often you work with your language, the more it stays fresh and the less you'll need to review. 6. Thinking that speeding through things means you're learning faster. Instead of spending the time you need to truly learn the material, you speed through it and thus don't retain it. 7. Taking too long or too frequent breaks. 8. Not using the right resources. The best resources are those that will help you meet your goals and those that you will actually use. Don't waste time or money on resources that aren't going to be either of those things for you. 9. Avoiding the aspects of the language that challenge you. 10. Collecting resources rather than using them. 11. Passive listening rather than active listening. 12. Multitasking. 13. Not having clear goals and the plans to get to them. That's it. 13 time wasters that language learners are often guilty of committing. I have a link to a more in-depth post about these and how to overcome some of them in the box below. So what about you? Are you guilty of any of these? What do you do to avoid them? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And just as a quick side note, I wanted to let you know about my new free email course, The Busy Language Learner. It's a 7-day productivity challenge that will help you figure out how to fit a little more language learning into your day. I'll leave a link to where you can sign up in the box below. Thanks for watching. That was so... I have a pen, I have an apple.